Vulnerability is not a weakness. It takes a very strong person to be vulnerable with other people about what's going on in their minds, what's going on in their hearts, how they feel in their soul. Brené Brown said that the foundation of curiosity is vulnerability and being okay with being wrong and not knowing what's going on. You see, she talks about not knowers, but learners. Targeted curiosity, in fact. The fearlessness of asking hard questions requires vulnerability, and channeling emotion can cut through the toughest hearts. If not contained, can be the wildfire that burns bridges. So, if you think of vulnerability like fire, in one way, it provides you warmth. It brings us all together. It keeps us warm in the cold winter nights. On the flip side, it can burn your whole house down. Vulnerability shouldn't be perceived as weakness or misplaced emotion, and just the ability to manage uncertainty with minimal emotional exposure. Connecting one human to another with vulnerability and authenticity is a key to human well-being. A modern approach to mentoring, one that creates a mentoring program that really matters, has never been more important, especially in the digital HQ. Augmenters, hosted by Julie Meyer and Jimmy Egerton, is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. Entrepreneurs Julie and Jimmy, who care deeply about human well-being and bringing more connection to the workplace, dive into mentoring and exploring ways to augment and refresh the mentoring movement, using 8 core principles that weave relevant spirit guides and diverse guests. Julie and Jimmy use humor and practical tips to help mentors and mentees get further, faster together. You can listen to Augmenters wherever you get your podcasts. Most times we can't be fully invested in anything without EMP, emotion, motivation, and passion. You can be lackluster in your emotion. You can be disengaged, but we all know that isn't as sustainable as being completely invested and fully passionate, driven to do what it is that you want to do.
What's up, digital world? You're listening to the I Digress audio experience with Troy Sandidge. Social media, marketing, storytelling, business, culture, and more. Coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
Vulnerability is not a weakness. Vulnerability is 100% a strength. So with that said, let's normalize saying no more. Let's normalize setting healthier boundaries. Let's normalize speaking up when we need to be heard. Let's normalize asking questions when we don't know something. And let's normalize not feeling bad about it. How much time has been wasted trying to figure out something assigned to us that's full of ambiguity, no direction, no context at all whatsoever, because we didn't want to look weak to our boss or our clients or our counterparts, and we were too afraid to simply ask clarifying questions? Well, I say to you, as I also speak to myself, no more. We don't know everything. We can't do everything, and we all have our limits. So to avoid shutting down, let's set healthy parameters and define expectations of what we can do and timelines to do them, as well as maybe define what it is that we need and where the support will come from. Sometimes people aren't aware and therefore need to be made aware. How long do we have to put up? How long do we have to put what we are focusing on achieving this year on the back burner because we say yes too much, taking on too much, having too many commitments, than we can handle. Always thinking we can sacrifice our own self-being in the process. I know I'm not the only one. No more. Have the strength to be vulnerable enough to put yourself first and align everything that you want around it. The thing is, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And it isn't the end of the world. The previous episode, when I talked about resolutions versus goals and those small glimpses, things that we want to change versus things that we want to achieve, a big part of that is putting ourselves first. How long will we work ourselves to the bone and never take a break or speak up that it's too much right now and you need some help or a vacation or time to recharge or something along those lines? No more. Speak your truth. Express yourself. State what you need. We are human beings. We are not robots. Don't let the infrastructure and the system force you to think and act as if you are a robot. We need time to recharge. We need time to sleep. We need time to eat, time to think, time to be happy, reducing our stress levels. And all of those combinations of things vary by person to person. But nevertheless, we need rest. We need a process that allows us to consistently do our best without draining us. That starts with managing your life to be more productive, to have a bigger performance, to drive profitability, to have success. And in many cases, it's not so much all of your talent and all the things that you technically can do. It's knowing when to delegate to other people, to hire help, to learn better processes so it doesn't consume so much of your time, energy, and resources, so you can maximize the time that you actually are spending on working on work. And then when you're done, you're done. Now, if that was so easy, everybody would be doing it. But no, most aren't. Troy, I don't have the funds to bring in a whole team. Well, you know what the magic and the joy, despite everything that went wrong, it was challenging and difficult in the pandemic that we have learned, is that we are closer than we think through technology. Do you know you can bring on staff and team from all over the world to work in your time zone, to focus on specific things, those minuscule things, or maybe even the bigger things that you don't have the time to do or you don't even know how to do, and have people get the job done for you at a price point that is satisfactory to the cost of living that they want and desire, and at a price point that doesn't break your bank? We have to figure out ways to maximize our time on this earth. And I don't know about you, but if I want to grow a business, and that's one of my top desires, yeah, there's that period of time where you go through sacrifice your whole life for it, but after a while that gets old. Hustle culture is dead. Let's bring in the right people to do the things we don't want to do or that doesn't come natural to us and go get it. The secret to driving your business forward is finding the discipline to focus on the key priorities you need to tackle while getting the right support for the things others can do for you. You can get the support you need without breaking the bank through virtual gurus. They match you with skilled remote administrative talent, and you pay only for the hours you need through an affordable subscription plan with no long-term commitments, with no recruiting costs. You can build the support team you need while keeping your operation lean, saving up to 40% compared to traditional hiring costs. Virtual Gurus is on a mission to provide work opportunities to underrepresented communities in the United States and Canada, giving you access to an incredibly diverse talent pool. They can match you with remote assistants who have a range of skill sets, including bookkeeping, data entry, sales and marketing support, email and calendar management, and much, much more. Work with one assistant, work with several assistants. It all depends on what you need. Start getting the support you need today. Book a free consult at thevirtualgurus.com/I-digress. That's thevirtualgurus.com/I-digress, all one word. As you can see, I am all over the place. But I digress. That's literally why it's called I digress. I will go to the ends of the earth and eventually work my way back to where I need to be. I find that I marvel in the growth I achieved last year. I marvel in the growth I've seen many others achieve last year. And in many cases, as I've talked to many of them, myself included, it has come down to relegating our time. There were times where I'm spending money and investing money on things that I'm like, oh, I could use that money somewhere else. But if I really were serious about this dream and turning it into a reality, I knew I couldn't just do it all of myself and maintain what I already have in the pursuit of wanting and achieving more. I had to make the investment in bringing on other people or collaborating with other people or learning better infrastructure techniques and tactics and strategies to allow myself to maximize my productivity to achieve the profitability that I want through my performance. And are you doing that? Are we taking the time to look at every single thing that is slowing us down from achieving what we want to achieve? You know what? As an entrepreneur, there comes a point where you don't have to keep your own books or manage your own social media or create your own content. That doesn't mean you're not involved. That doesn't mean you don't have a say. That means offsetting things that are slowing you down from being in your 100% zone of genius, your zog, to pursue wholeheartedly, relentlessly, the things that you want. If you feel it's draining your energy and you keep putting it off, you probably need to delegate it. You probably need to shift gears a little bit more and do things a little bit differently. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and thinking you're going to get a different outcome. How many years has it been? You've been doing the same things, complaining about the same things, and telling everyone you're going to achieve the same things, and you end up in the same way year in and year out, simply because you aren't making changes. You are stating in your resolutions the changes you want to make, but you're not setting the goals to actually do them. To make a change occur, there's a subset of tasks you must check off, habits you must develop, milestones you must surpass to in a certain confines of time to actually see the change. We've all heard the example. Many people have used the example of going to the gym. You get sweaty, you feel like you get strong, you put in 2 hours worth of work. You go back to the mirror and you look the same. You do this for a week. You do this for a month. You do this for 3 months. And you still may look at yourself in the mirror and think you look the same. Now, sometimes that is the truth, but other times we need to change our own perception of ourselves to allow the change to be innate in us. I had said in a previous episode before, and I've said this on a few stages before, this is who we are now. Have you ever looked in the mirror at yourself and you're trying to make these changes happen? Follow the plan, check mark things off the list, build the habits, and you're struggling. It's almost suffocating all the air out of the room. In those moments, you gotta go to the mirror, take a deep breath, exhale, look at yourself. This is who we are now. Comply. If I'm holding on to the weaknesses and the disappointments and the inactiveness of the previous me, the previous version of me, that previous version is still going to be me when I go 3, 6, 12 months later. This is who we are now. Change, comply, act accordingly. Build the infrastructure so you can develop the rocket ship you need to break the outer atmosphere of the obstacles and challenges in your way. Nobody builds a rocket ship without the right ecosystem around them to do so. I think about when a butterfly is in a cocoon. We don't really think about, you say, your larva, then you go in a cocoon, then you come out a beautiful butterfly. We never talk about the transition in the cocoon. Like, you don't think when we're in the cocoon, like, is it worth me being in here? I have doubts. Am I actually going to come out, looking another level? This transformative state, is it really going to happen? And even when it does, do you think right away they just be like, now, granted, I know it's nature and it's natural, but stay with me in this moment here. You just come out the cocoon and I fly away. Oh, no, I got wings now. If that butterfly doesn't believe and acknowledge the version that it is now, and thinks in its mind that it's still a larva, it's just going to crawl and it's never going to fly. And so as you're making these changes, as you're pursuing this next level of growth, I need you to understand this is who you are now. You are this person that's going to make these leaps and bounds by sticking to the plan, by making these changes and adjusting accordingly. Yes, confine the process based off who you are now. But as you're pursuing the success, work backwards. Mentally, emotionally, that person who achieves what I'm trying to achieve is that. Therefore, I must become that to achieve it in the now, in the present, day by day, moment by moment. We need to align ourselves, acknowledging our weaknesses, sure, our frailties, sure, but also acknowledging the feeling of what success means for us, or for our family, or for our business, for the impact, or for the world. I don't know. You might be the person listening here who's going to cure a subset of cancer or make a new technology that we're going to use 25 years from now. I don't know. Things happen in triggering ripples that inspire us to do many of great things, endure great things to achieve even better things. And so if this podcast experience in the lightest gives you a spark to continue or to even to try, as I had to take the time to try to record, even at times where I didn't feel like it. That's all I can ask for. That's all I can expect, is that I'm putting the time now through this mic that goes through editing and processing, that gets put on various podcast distribution channels for you to hit play and to listen to this moment and think, wow, I might have done this yesterday, 2 weeks ago, a month ago, and it finally got to your doorstep, which are your ears. And we're having a very intimate moment here. And I just want to say that I'm proud of you, that you are going to achieve great things if you don't fall by the wayside of letting things get to you and you not trusting the vision that was given to you. That you need to speak up, that you need to take action, that you need to acknowledge your frailties, but also acknowledge what it means to be on the other side of them. People who are successful get really good at a very specific thing. And what they don't know how to do, they delegate. They partner, they collaborate, or they learn just enough to continue to do the basics, but their zone of genius strength is what's going to carry them. Do you know what your zone of genius strength is? Do you know what it is that you can do and what you can't do? Your time, your knowledge, your skill, your money, those 4 currencies. What combination of efforts and currencies are going to be required to make the leaps and bounds for this year? I want you to think through that. Do the deep work, not the resolutions. I want you to actually take the time to make a plan, make a flow chart. I don't care. And if you need some help, keyword here is paid help, but I digress. You can contact me. I'm a growth strategist. This is what I do, baby. I love to build. I love to live in the tangible line of this is what I want to do, Troy. This is the vision. How do I bring it to reality? I love being in the how and manifesting the what. As long as you bring me the why and the where, we got this thing. We can make some things happen. If you haven't set your 2023 goals, now's the perfect time. You know, one of my goals this year is to increase my productivity, performance, and profitability. And sure, finding ways to grow better personally can be easier said than done. As we all know, New Year's resolutions end after the month of January. But I digress. But finding ways to grow better in business is as easy as HubSpot. With HubSpot's CRM platform, better value and growing better go hand in hand. That's because HubSpot lets you try before you buy and has lightning fast onboarding times, whether your business is going live tomorrow or went public yesterday. And with sales, marketing, and operations tools, your teams can stay connected and focused on reaching both your goals and your customers' goals. Learn how HubSpot can help your business grow better at HubSpot.com. I just need you to understand, and I just need you to realize and acknowledge and recognize and prepare yourself for the journey ahead. Not to be naive in the passion-driven led resolutions that may fade off in little to no time, and built in the proper infrastructure, habits, ecosystem, and team, the support system that's going to help you continue forward when you don't have the energy, the grace, the passion, the motivation, or the emotional competency to do so. It's not just about how badly do you want something. It's about how strategically you are at building the right infrastructure in place that increases your odds to achieve it no matter what. Does it take work? Yes, but all good things take work. But I don't want to lose myself in the moment of not enjoying life as I'm pursuing the goals that I want in life. Ooh, you can have your cake and you can eat your cake too. That belief that you can have one or the other is only meant to keep people in a certain confines of thought. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. That's a socioeconomic struggle, yes. It's a mindset, yes. It's a system, definitely true. But we can work through this together to surpass that obstacle. But it requires us to do the deep work. And I'm feeling, and if I get positive reception from these type of episodes that I'm trying to do in this moment right now, since it seems to be very fitting for this time of the year, when we're trying for my own personal goals is increased performance, productivity, and profitability. Those are my 3 goals. In the same way, I hope that we work together to do this thing, that these episodes are receptive and you want more. And I can go very micro of those core things. I think it's great to express where you are and maybe shed some light on where you're trying to go, but you don't want to tell all the tea. Let's save some for later. Let's save some of the stories for a rainy day when we need to go back into our reservoir to motivate ourselves and remind ourselves, what are we doing this for? What are we struggling for? What are we sacrificing for? What are we in the pursuit of? We need a plan. We need infrastructure. And we need to trust the process and have patience. Not everyone will get everything they want and snap a finger overnight. And most people won't. And most people won't achieve what they will achieve by themselves. We all need help and support. And so I acknowledge you to write down everything, make a plan, build an infrastructure, bring on a team, and make sure you have some level of accountability, such so it doesn't allow you to feel comfortable with not pursuing the goals that you want every single day. Me having to check mark off to my trainer, Lonnie, did you do your cardio today? Could at times give me anxiety, but it keeps me accountable. That pain of letting him down, of letting myself down, of not checking that off, that means I need to do it. The pain of me seeing where I'm at and what I want to do and me not getting there realigns me to say I need to stick to the plan and pursue this goal wholeheartedly. There's many books and videos and courses and programs and motivational speakers and all these things that we can consume, that we will consume naturally during this time period. All I'm going to say is always do all possible things, because any quote, any plan, every strategy can fail. Or maybe you can't live up to what is built because it's not customized to where you are. You left out some things that you struggle with, or that you're trying to pursue by a certain timeline that you left out. We can't leave anything out. We have to be 100%, scratch that, 1000% honest with ourselves. It's not just about how badly you want something. It's about building the infrastructure in place so that you have the higher chance to actually pursue and succeed at that thing. So consume all this that you need to consume. Tell all you need to tell. But after the noise is over, after you bought the books, after you listen to this podcast episode, even, all these different things, that you take some time to yourself and you notate the plan. You build it out, you carve it out. Any holes that you're missing, you find the support system or a team or a person or a software to fill it. And you hold yourself to these milestones and your standards, but give yourself the grace that when things come up out of your control, you just move things around to fit the situation and not blame yourself that if you didn't achieve a certain thing by an arbitrary length of measurements and by time, you are in fact a failure. Setbacks happen every day. We cannot predict the future. We can only pursue the future in the hopes that we achieve what we are meant to achieve. But if we get closer than we did last year, that's still room for celebration and room for gratitude and room for you to sit and marvel in your success. Be encouraged and let's go get it. Let's actually do it. Let's pursue it. No excuses. Just produce. No excuses. Just make the plan. No excuses. Just be patient. No excuses. Ask for help. No excuses. Maybe I'm going to move in silence for a while and see what I can do. In the hopes and the pursuit and being all that I can be.
And that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Digress. What was your takeaway? Care to share your thoughts and tag Troy on social media? You can find him on all platforms at Find Troy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review or comment for this episode from wherever you're listening. Looking for a marketing strategist to build the structure, strategies, and systems you need to get the success you want and the ROI you desire in your business? Book a discovery call to talk with Troy at findtroy.com. And as Troy's philosophy goes, imagination is the engine, content is the fuel, social media is the highway, marketing is the roadmap, sales is the destination, culture is the GPS. Thanks for listening.